It's been a tradition as far back as anyone can remember. As long as there have been tobacco fields around Salta, Argentina, entire families have worked them. But something profound has changed in the tobacco fields.
We have eradicated child labor. For us, it's something obsolete. Producers are now aware that children are no longer needed.
The Tobacco Producers Cooperative and the Tobacco Chamber of Salta, with support from government and the ILO, has finally broken the long tradition of child labor in Salta. They did it with the introduction of new technology and a special program called Harvest Gardens, where children of farm families can be cared for while their parents work in the tobacco fields. Silvia Bravo is a teacher at the Harvest Gardens program. When she was her daughter's age, her entire family worked in the tobacco fields. It was what everyone did back then.
Before, we would start working very young. Your parents would take you so that you would help out. And then you would end up working yourself. And you became yourself a harvester or something else related to tobacco.
It was lovely to see them, the parents with their children around them working, but it was a dangerous place for children to be because there were insecticides, machines. The kids were working when they should have been playing and enjoying their summer holiday. And that's how the idea of gardens of harvest came up.
A new generation of tobacco workers, like Maria and Eugenia Delgado, wanted something different for their children.
I think it's really important to eradicate child labour because otherwise they are losing on all the stages in their lives. Instead of working, they can be at home, playing and learning.
The parents asked the employers for a solution, and the employers responded. With the help of the government and the ILO, the tobacco producers put a funding scheme in place to create the Harvest Gardens program.
Thanks to federal and provincial governments' financing, we look after the workers' children during the summer while they go to work, and they know they leave their children in good hands, that they are well taken care of.
While their parents work the tobacco fields, their children spend the day at the Harvest Gardens and Porvenir programs, getting meals, games, and physical education, supervised by trusted teachers. There's a strong emphasis on building children's self-esteem, encouraging them to believe they can do something different with their own lives.
They are more confident, and parents love to see their children more motivated and enthusiastic about pursuing a different future.
Today we have 350 children in Salta and 300 in Jujuy, which means 650 children altogether. And the engagement we took with the Ministry for Social Development and ILO, which helped us a lot in implementing all the gardens, is that this experience should be extended to other agricultural sectors and not only tobacco.
That success is a direct result of a public-private partnership unique in Latin America. The Network of Companies Against Child Labor, simply known as the Network, has 90 committed members. All the network's employers work in close partnership with the Ministry of Labor and its National Commission on the Eradication of Child Labor, known as CONAETI.
Creo que ambos hemos aprendido muchísimo el uno del otro y además se ha creado un espíritu de
I think we've both learned from each other and managed to create an atmosphere of commitment and trust. My first recommendation for countries that might be interested in implementing similar public-private collaboration would be to ensure that such a climate of commitment, trust, and of knowing one another is installed.
De generar mutua confianza entre los dos sectores. Y una vez que se genera ese espacio de confianza,
once you've achieved this trust, which doesn't take too long, the rest comes naturally.
Solamente se suma.
And it allows greater field of action and intervention.
Esto posibilita un campo de acción en la intervención sumamente importante.
The network's members strongly agree.
El éxito de este programa fue la articulación público-privada.
The key to the success of this program has been the public-private cooperation. We worked with the Ministry for Labor as well as with the Ministry for Social Development, whose financial contribution was crucial for us to keep working. And in the provinces, we worked with the Ministries of Education and Health, as well as various towns that also contributed greatly.
We know that this experience of public-private cooperation is unique. It's the first experience of the sort in Latin America. And I think it's very enriching to be able to work together, first coordinating projects and actions, learning from one another's expertise, and bringing all of this to society, these concrete actions.
The ILO gives practical information about child labor, such as the Guide for Employers, as well as training programs and technical assistance, and promotes tripartite social dialogue. It's an interactive conversation between employers, workers' organizations, and government, based on respect and the recognition of other viewpoints, helping generate better understanding of the issues at stake.
We have to distance ourselves from the paradigm of confrontation, each side being pulled by their own interests. We need to work together with workers' representatives, as well as with governments and international organisms to help in the process.
It is precisely this kind of dynamic that enables societies to face complex challenges, such as eradication of child labor.
At the international level, the ILO's tripartite social dialogue has generated a global consensus on the importance of eradicating child labor. The ILO Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work and its conventions on minimum age and the worst forms of child labor were adopted with the full support of the employers, governments, and workers' organizations.
When we at the ILO talk about the future, as our Director General says, we're not fighting for the children of tomorrow, but for the children of today. And that's what we're concretely doing with this type of program. I believe that the involvement of private companies and trade unions guarantee the success of these programs.
On the tobacco plantations, technological advances are another significant factor in the successful fight against child labor. New drying chambers for the tobacco leaves eliminated the need for hand wrapping of the leaves on canes, which was work primarily performed by children.
We started the curing centres, where all small tobacco producers could come and dry their tobacco, and that allowed them to stop having to wrap leaves as they used to. And that's how we completely eradicated the culture of child labour in the plantations.
For parents like Silvia Bravo, there's a brighter future for her daughter without child labour.
The difference between my childhood and hers is that she's enjoying everything I haven't been able to. When I was young, I had to work. One deals with adult responsibilities. I realize now that I missed many stages of my life. I didn't experience the joy of coming here, sharing and playing with other kids, acting in a play. I didn't do any of that, and she's enjoying possibilities I never had.
Argentina's harvest gardens are sending a message to the world that when employers, government, and workers' organizations share the responsibilities of eradicating child labor through social dialogue, they can build a better, more prosperous future for everyone.